catastrophic failure at an electricity substation that led to the closure of Europe's busiest airport. For 24 hours, flights in and out of Heathrow were cancelled, with more than 270,000 passengers disrupted. Around 70,000 homes and businesses also lost power. The root cause, a preventable technical fault National Grid had been aware of for 7 years, but failed to fix properly.
There was a series of missed opportunities to identify and fix that fault on the transformer that would have prevented the fire. A potential missed opportunity at Heathrow to optimise the resilience afforded by the fact that it has 3 independent substations feeding into the airport. And a missed opportunity across the energy industry generally and our critical national infrastructure.
The report says in July 2018, an elevated moisture reading had been found in oil samples at the North Hyde substation, but the electrical insulators were not replaced. In 2022, a decision was made to defer basic maintenance at the substation, meaning the issue went unaddressed. But this was not resolved, and in July 2024, a review by the National Grid found that the system was still out of service.
So the report wasn't about trying to apportion blame or find out who's to blame. What we set out to do in an independent, objective way was understand what happened, understand what the implications were, and then make recommendations to improve the resilience of our system. We have one of the most resilient systems in the world, but things like this are really rare, and I think it's really important when they do happen, therefore, that we take the learnings from them, we develop a set of recommendations, and then we drive those through and make sure they're implemented really quickly.
The National Grid says they have taken further action since the fire, including an end-to-end review of its oil sampling process. Energy regulator Ofgem is now looking into possible licence breaches at the substation, saying it expects energy companies to properly maintain equipment to prevent this happening.
One of the 3 infeeds into Heathrow lost power. The other 2 were unaffected, but the one that lost power controls some of the critical cross-airport facilities, which meant there was a disruption to those facilities on the airport, and they had to close down the airport to ensure that they could manage things safely. And then they had a switching plan which allowed them to reconfigure the network inside the airport. So the airport's quite a big electrical distribution system in itself. And what they had to do then was reconfigure it to take power from the 2 remaining substations, which they did during Friday of the 21st of March. And then they reopened sort of late on Friday for some flights and fully on the Saturday.
A spokesperson for the airport welcomed the report, saying it is already implementing 28 recommendations from its own review into the closure. A critical piece of national infrastructure taken out in a preventable fault. The hope of this report is to ensure it doesn't happen again. Kieran Fitzpatrick, ITV News.